Well, today we're going to try and do this by video, just for a change. So here's the brewery, here's the hot liquor tank set up with water running at 50 degrees C that flows into the mash tun, which is basically temperature controlled with the rims heater down here, and that's the kettle for boiling. Then on the worktop here we've got the controller for the rims heater. It's set up, it's not actually controlling anything right now. Various bits and pieces, some grain over there. So here are the bins of malt. On the left is a bin of lager malt. On the right, this is where I keep the pale malt, and if you have a look in here you can see what it looks like. It's basically crushed malted barley, and we're going to use 5 kilos of that over here to make this beer with. Don't know what kind of beer we're going to make yet, but it's going to be some kind of pale ale, that's for sure. Some other specialty grains here. We've got some crystal malt and some wheat malt and some torrefied wheat here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use. I'll probably use up a few of these bags, so I'll go and figure out what to do now. Okay, so that's the rest of the grain. We ended up with 50 grams of wheat malt, which finished off that bag. Another 100 grams of torrefied wheat, which I'm not really a big fan of, but it's all I had, and 250 grams of crystal malt. So you can see the differences in the colour between those. The crystals on the left and the wheat malts are on the right. Now then, this is my hop fridge. As you can see, we've got quite a few hops in here. We've got pellet type hops in vac foil. We've got whole flowers over here, over here, over here, and we've got a box full of cascades down at the bottom here. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to use today, to be honest with you. I think because I've got so much cascade I should probably try and use some of that, so let's have these out. And I'm going to use Steve Flack's Beer Alchemy software to compose a recipe on. It's going to be a pale ale, American type pale ale, so I'll mess around with that and we'll see what comes out. Don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, it might be too close for this little camera, but see, that's the fermentables listed in there, the pale malt, torrefied wheat, wheat malt and crystal malt. Now this is my spreadsheet to calculate the water volumes that we need. You definitely can't see this, but just really for interest level. You plug in the grain bell, the losses in the system, and it'll come out and calculate how much water you need to add and when you need to add it. So I'm going to mash in with 20 litres of hot water, and I'm just going to pour that from the hot liquor tank here into the mash tun, and really all I need to do is just turn that valve. The water's already up to temperature, it just pours in there. It takes a little while to fill up with 20 litres. You can tell when it'll be at the right place because the water level will go down to the little washer on the sight tube, so that's nice and easy. Okay, next step is mashing in. It's going to be quite tricky with the video camera in one hand. So basically I've got my water and mash tun here, and I'm just pouring that grain in there, 5.4 kilos of grain. I'm quite lazy in the way I do this, so I like to go for the easiest possible way to do it. And what I found, quite a good way, is just to pour all the grain in one hit, and then just mix it up with a power drill with a paint mixer attachment stuck on it. Won't take long. Just like to do it both ways quickly. There we go, and that's all we need to do. So really that now is the mash mashed in. I also added a teaspoon of gypsum into the water before I put the grain in, just to make sure there's enough calcium in the water. And that's quite a wet mash, that's about 4.5 litres per kilo, but the way I run my system it seems to work okay. So that's there, and we'll go and set up the rims next. Okay, so this is the rims setup. As you can see in the mash tun here, at the bottom of the mash tun here, there's a tap. Pipe comes out, flows into the pump which is down here. From that pump the liquid goes into this copper cylinder. In that copper cylinder there's a 3 kilowatt immersion heater, and up at the top here you see there's another tap to control the flow, and you can see there's a temperature sensor set in there. The liquid then comes out of there, runs around this excessively long tube, goes back up here, down here, and into this return manifold here. I'll set that just under the level of the liquid when we get going, but for now that's just there. It's helpful to be able to see the flow. So the next thing to do is to turn the pump on and get it all adjusted. The controller unit, if you have a look at the bottom display, 66 degrees centigrade is what we're setting it for. 38.9 is the current state of the liquid in the heater chamber. Right, that's the system turned on, and you can see that right now there's a lot of very cloudy looking liquid flowing out through this manifold. The temperature is very low, so the starch hasn't converted into sugar yet, so it still looks very floury in there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to adjust the flow a little bit till we get it how we like it. It's probably too fast right now. It probably should be a bit more like that or something like that. And then we're just going to push this down till it just sits underneath the surface of the wort, the mash rather, and doesn't disturb anything. Kind of like that. Now if you look here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but you'll be able to see the temperature is gradually climbing towards the set point. This little light here shows that the heater is on, and that is basically heating up the mash liquid as it passes through the pump and through the heater and back into the mash tun. So we need to leave that now to reach its set point. So here you can see the temperature in the output is about 66.4 versus the set